And so there really isn't, in essence, a gift tax per se. You can actually give away $18,000 per child, per grandchild. Our last question is from Georgina in Fayetteville. I want to leave a good amount of money to my grandchildren. What's the best way for me to do so without hindering them too much with taxes? Well, the first question we'd have back for you, Georgina, is what does a good amount mean? Because if we're talking about $1,000 or $2,000, that's pretty easy to solve. If we're talking about a major inheritance, we need to determine, first of all, where is the money? Because one non-tax efficient way that we've already alluded to is to have it in IRAs and leave it in IRAs and only maybe take required minimum distributions and drop a couple of $1 million into the next generation's pocket. You need a plan to get it out of the IRA and move it into something else, because that could be a real big tax bomb. Some of the options to do that: if your income is low particularly, or even moderate, it might make sense to do some yearly Roth conversions from traditional IRAs into Roth IRAs. You would pay the taxes in the tax year that you made the conversion, or for the tax year that you made the conversion, but then moving forward, it would be tax-free for your children or grandchildren in your case, and it never has to be it does have to come out over the 10 years, but it will never be taxed. You could also take some IRA withdrawals, pay the taxes on it, again, incrementally along the years, and then reinvest the money. And then you get back into a non-retirement account conversation like we had on a previous question, where you can get a step up in cost basis, and that would be a pretty tax efficient way. But the other thing too is there is a way to just gift cash to your grandchildren directly now. And I think that's the other question. Do you want it left behind later, or do you want to give them some now?
And I think it's a question of when do you want them to have the benefit of it, because they might have the money now and get the benefit later. But I'll tell you what my mother-in-law did with 4 kids. She obviously wanted her children to have the majority of what she left behind, but she wanted the grandchildren to have something, and so she gave each grandchild $1,000. Well, $1,000 doesn't sound like a whole lot when they're as young as they were. But what we did with both of our kids, we set that money aside, and then when each of them got a job, and they both worked some as teenagers, so when each of them got a job later, that $1,000 went in as a Roth contribution. They had to have earned income for us to do that, but when they had earned income, that $1,000 that had just been basically sitting in savings for them was then put into the Roth IRA. So now, Scott, they've got this tax-deferred and tax-free, as long as they leave it alone, over the years, tax-free growth until their retirement. So what their mama gave them as $1,000, when we went through and looked at how young it got invested and a reasonable growth rate of return, I don't remember exactly what we figured on that, but they were going to have basically $250,000 from that $1,000. Yeah. So it's a huge impact on their retirement because it got done so early in their lives, but it didn't cost the grandmother a whole lot to be able to give that amount to the grandchildren.
So let's talk about gifting. There is a possibility you can give pretty large amounts to your grandchildren. In fact, the annual gift tax exclusion for 2024 is $18,000 per recipient per year without incurring any gift tax. Now let's explain what that means. There is a lifetime estate tax exemption or exclusion available right now through 2025 that is $13.69 million for an individual. So if you're wanting to gift to your grandchildren and your estate happens to be larger, if you have a $15 million estate, the actual first $13.69 million can go out without being subject to the estate tax. So it's probably not going to come into play for most people. And so there really isn't, in essence, a gift tax per se.
Right.
You can actually give away $18,000 per child, per grandchild.
Right, and above that, you just have to report it. But again, you're probably not going to hit that exemption level. One of the things that you might also consider, depending on the age of the grandchildren, you can pay for college tuition, and that's not considered a gift. So if you think about that, that could be a blessing to both your children and your grandchildren, because I don't know in your family who's paying the tuition. Is the student getting student loans that they are then responsible to pay in the future, or is the parent carrying that weight? So that could be also a benefit, and it doesn't count against this $18,000 amount at all.
Now, one note to wrap up here, that exemption of $13.69 million is expected to sunset, not expected, it will sunset at the end of 2025. So if nothing is done to keep it, beginning in January of 2026, that goes down from $13.69 million per individual to $5 million per individual. And it's bounced around over the course of history at all different levels. Now, again, with the election in the rearview mirror now, I think the expectation would be that it would be extended at that $13.69 million, or maybe even a higher rate. But just good to know for high net worth individuals that amount could be going down and could be a significant tax problem in the future.